My name is Peter Mayo. I'm 84 years old this year, and I guess I should start with my adult life. At the time, the Korean War had just started, and they were forming a special force with a 3-year enlistment period. So I just said, I'll go and join the Army, which I did. And about 14 months later, I was in Korea as a corporal. A year later, the war was over, and I was shipped back home with very little time left in my period of service, and I was forced to decide what I'm going to do then. So I thought about it, and I chose to try to stay in the military because I enjoyed it. And I asked for officer training. They accepted me, and I spent the next, a total of 28 years in the military. In the meantime, I met my wife, and we got married and had 2 daughters. At the end of my military service, I was only 47 years old. So again, I was, with a new family and expenses and all, what am I going to do next? I then got a job with the District of Surrey Engineering Department. I worked for Surrey for 14 years. And towards the end of that, when Surrey was changing from a district to a city, their management system started to change with them. And I didn't particularly enjoy what I was seeing happening. And since we now owned our own home and our children were growing up, I took the best option that I could, and I resigned. That left me home free to do as I wished. I always liked cooking, so I did most of the grocery shopping and cooking. I liked gardening, and we had a property that was great fun to garden in. I hunted, I fished, I tied flies, I drank scotch, and generally enjoyed myself for several years until I had a stroke. It was morning of September the 6th, 2003, and I was preparing to watch the golf on television. And it was a few minutes before it was due to start. So I went out the side of our house where there was a covered bit of patio and had a smoke. When I was finished that, I was walking back inside when bang, all of a sudden everything went black. I woke up, it couldn't even be seconds later, and I was on the ground, half in, half out the door. And my brain was functioning perfectly. I knew what had happened, obviously. I quickly found out that the right part of my body wouldn't move at all. So I figured and my wife was in Manitoba visiting her family. Her father was ill. And the daughters were away, and I was going to have to do something by myself. So I managed to using 1 foot, 1 hand and arm, and pulling and pushing against walls and furniture and whatnot. I went through a small utility room, through the kitchen, through the dining room, through a short hallway, into the family room where the phone was. And I called 911. And when it was answered, I discovered I couldn't talk. And that was unique. It was the most, it was the strangest experience. But the person on 911 was a wonderful lady. She knew exactly what was happening. And she got people out there, and they took me to hospital.
Did you suffer any lasting effects from your stroke?
Yes. Mainly in this arm and shoulder. This leg was limited to a degree, but I got some workability back in it. But the hand, arm, and shoulder were bad. I got my voice back by in several days, and took a few lessons to get me back articulating properly. And but otherwise, that was it.
So over the years, did your condition improve?
No, it didn't. It just got worse. My leg stayed about the same, but the arm and shoulder and hand gradually lost mass, and the muscle started to deteriorate from lack of use and that sort of thing. And the pain increased as the muscles atrophied.
So tell us about your experience with LED light therapy.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I found out about it from my foot doctor, who I go to get new shoes and stuff through. And at about the same time, there was an article in the Langley Times, which I read. And my foot doctor, Dr. Abu, recommended this to me. So I said, what the heck, give it a try.
So how often did you come for sessions?
I came for the first one, and Val and I discussed how often we'd like to do this. And we suggested, we settled on every 2 weeks. After the first session, I found that 3 weeks was a bit too long. I liked what had happened to me, but I thought 3 weeks too long between sessions. So the next time in, we cut it down to 2 weeks, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
So every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
Good. How many sessions did it take before you noticed results, and what were those results?
It took only one session to really see results. It's a wonderful, relaxing kind of therapy. Just going through it is a result. But I found it relaxed my muscles enough so that the pain lessened almost right away, and stayed away for most of 2 weeks. There are two things. There's pain involved in this kind of thing, but as well there's a physical problem. You see this hand here, the LED allows this hand to stay open enough so that I can keep it clean on the inside, and my wife can pare my nails. If I can't do that, then what they generally have to do is cut the tendons in the lower arm. And I've seen people have that done. And this thing is hanging down and flapping out of control. You can even sit on it if you don't watch out. But so there's two things, pain and actual function, that are involved.
Would you recommend LED light therapy to others, and why?
I certainly would, because as I said, it's a very relaxing therapy in itself, which is good, and I have certainly had benefits from it. Not only pain relief and the physical thing, but for the last 9 months, I have seen an increase in my kidney function that steadily, so that's a plus in itself too.
Well, thank you for coming today, and we definitely look forward to seeing you guys again.
I'll be here as long as I'm alive.